What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you are watching TWA Motorsports, and today, just like the thumbnail states, guys, we are putting a cold air intake on the daily driver. And guys, look, I know what somebody's saying right now. This thing is nasty, and I know, believe me. But with the finger situation that happened, me, breaking my finger, I can't get it wet. And well, I can, but I don't want it soaked in water while I'm washing one. And honestly, guys, it's raining every other day, so kind of had a hard time keeping up. So it is dirty. I generally don't like to make videos when this thing's dirty, but I thought under the hood, we'll make this video. Guys, this video is actually sponsored by RealTruck. If you guys remember, a while back on this truck, we put the bed cover on, which I will link in the description down below. I love that thing. Rolls up nice, sets nice and flat. Absolutely love it. But look, guys, they don't just do bumpers and bed covers and toolboxes and whatnot. They do all kinds of stuff, including performance related stuff, which you're gonna see a couple videos on this truck with performance related stuff. And it's nice, honestly, guys, to find a place that you can trust to order something from. Look, I know if you're like me, you're always cruising on the internet. There's like these pop-ups on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. And it's like, buy an intake here. Well, I've never even heard of this place. Well, RealTruck, you don't have to worry. You're gonna get your stuff. I will list their website in the description as well as the part we are installing. But guys, look, they offer, golly, I don't know, maybe 20 different intakes for this truck. This is a 6.2. I believe the intake for the 6.2 or the 5.3 are the same. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they are. This is a 6.2 truck. This is what I chose to go with. It is not the most expensive. It's like a budget-minded intake. And so we're gonna do a couple things in this video. First of all, we're gonna get this thing open, take a look at it. We're gonna get it installed. And then, guys, I keep track of my mileage on this truck. And this thing, believe it or not, four-wheel drive, 6.2, averages about 20 miles to the gallon. So my question is, do you think that the intake will make a difference in my mileage? And so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get this installed, and then I'm gonna give it the course of a couple weeks, maybe a couple fill-ups, and try to drive the exact same thing. I'm pretty consistent with the way I drive, and we're gonna see if it gains any mileage. I know it's gonna gain some power, guys. Look, it's not going to be like 100 horsepower gain. I think, to be real honest with you, I'm gonna say 5 to 10 horsepower is common for these kind of applications, in my opinion. It may be more than that. S&B may get mad at me for saying that, but honestly, I think that is a safe number. Let's put it that way. But anyway, I think we'll start over here. We'll get the box open and take a look at what we got to install. I just changed the oil on this thing, and I know it's dirty under the hood too. Generally, guys, when I wash it, I clean up under the hood. It takes me quite a while. I clean out the door jambs and whatnot, but let's get this thing open and take a look at what we got. I tell you, every time I get new parts, it's like the most exciting thing ever. Sometimes installing them, not as fun. But getting them, man, it's like Christmas Day. All right, we got some, looks like a coupler. We got a ginormous box. Look at that thing. Let's get this open and take a look at it. I think, if I remember correctly, I chose to go with the dry element filter. Holy cow, this thing is monstrous. Look how big that is. I've never had the air box out of this truck, so I have no idea what we're dealing with. Look how ginormous this thing is. Oh my gosh, look at the filter. Look how, well, I can honestly say I've never seen a filter that big, that's for sure. All right, we got that piece. What else we got in here? Looks like we got some rubber gaskets to block off some areas. Okay, makes sense. We got the elbow that goes from the box to the throttle body. Makes sense. That's nice. Okay, look how massive that is. That's insane. All right, we got that. What else we got here? Looks like we got an extension harness. Holy cow, this is like, look for the cheaper intake, right? Because there's more expensive ones out there. Holy cow, is there a lot of stuff. All right, looks like a mass airflow adapter. Maybe for different products. I'm hoping somewhere, and that's probably in one of these, there's an instruction manual, because I don't see anything. I'm sure we can figure it out, but Like I said, it looks like an extension harness, I'm guessing, for the mass airflow sensor. Another rubber grommet, a couple zip ties, another intake connection. Holy smokes. And then a really nice piece of rubber. I don't know where that goes. All right. Here's what I don't see. Instructions. They're here somewhere. You got it. You got to be here somewhere. Oh, they're those on installation instructions. Please go online. You notice that companies are doing this now. Hey, we got a new sticker for our lift. And guys, if you live in California, it looks like you can use this thing. It comes with the carb sticker. I didn't realize how important this is because I live in Missouri. I sold an HHRSS intake, like, I don't know, it's been years ago now. And the person that was buying it said, do you have the California sticker, the compliance sticker? I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently it is, and it's important to those people. So I don't have to have it here. But either way, let's, I guess, scan this and see what we're in for. So look, like every other intake install you're ever gonna do in your life, they're gonna tell you, hey, you need to take the negative terminal off the battery. So we'll oblige and do what they want us to do. They said you could potentially get a service engine light if you don't do this. Just a 10 millimeter to take this guy off. I say that. The batteries on these newer trucks are so complex. All right, we got that thing off there. I need to move it over so it's not grounding out on anything. All right, now the next step is we have to remove, it says the hood latch. So you see, and I'm not really sure what this is about, but it says to do that. And it's a T15 to take the hood latch release loose. I think the reason it's saying this is because we're gonna have to take this inner piece out, but this is pretty in depth. You know, most of the time we're way away from the intake, right? It's kind of crazy to think that we gotta take all this stuff off, but hey, maybe it's got some sort of ram air feature, you know? I don't know. All right, we got this guy off. We'll set this to the side. And the next thing we need to take off are all these little clips that go on the outer ledge here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I believe. Let's get our clip removal tools and get that out next. Now there's a couple different tools you can use for this. I've got these guys, and sometimes they're great, but when they're spun around like this, they're not the greatest thing, I guess. And then you've got like these metal ones that get underneath it once you've popped it up a little bit and it pulls it out. Those probably work the best. The problem is getting under to get it loose. Now, these things get stubborn as they get some age on them, but we've got to go around. Let's get all those loose and then we'll take this tray out. Okay, so this tool works way better than the other ones. Now that we've got that loose, let's take this thing out of there. Holy cow. Oh, I bet we're gonna deal with this. All right, let's move on. Next, we gotta remove this brace. So this is a 13 millimeter. Help if I had this on loosen instead of tighten. Just a little brace that goes to the front of the truck. Pull it out and set it aside. Next thing is we got another clip here that holds this little tube to the body of the truck. So once we get that clip out, we need to pull this out where it disconnects from the side of the air box. All right, we are loose from the air box, and we can just leave this right here, but keep your clip separate. Now it's the same as the other clip, so you can mix them up. Now next, we've got to release this clip. These are always fun. There's a safety on it. I'm probably gonna have to get something to pry that up. I wonder if my little pry tool will pull that up. There we go. And guys, look, these sometimes are an absolute pain to get unplugged. Well, I got it off the intake. Maybe we can just leave it like that, actually. We'll just do that because now it's off the box. All right, now we need to get, there's a couple wiring harnesses here that plug into the side of the stock box that we need to pry loose. Okay, which makes sense because we're taking the box out. I think we're good there. There was just one down here under the mass airflow sensor. Now that we got that accomplished, let's go ahead and unplug our mass airflow sensor. There's our little red safety clip in that guy. And then right behind that red safety clip, there's a tab to push on. So now we need to take either a flathead or a 15/16 and get this guy out. So the clamp says it's 15/16. It sure doesn't seem like it. It's a little too big. We're gonna go to a size down from that actually. About 9/32. Got that. The next thing we need to do is there's some tubing that hooks into this, but I don't know. I think it's on the other side here. I don't know. I may bring you in closer. I may take you off the tripod to show you this part because we're going to have to use some, we're just going to have to push the clips and get them loose. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but this one right here that goes into the intake, you should just be able to push in on those and then pull back. There we go. Be careful with them because they're like a hard plastic. Got that one loose. I feel like there was another one. Let's make sure before we go yanking this thing off, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to unhook it from the throttle body right there. I sure don't see another one. Unless I'm blind here, I just don't see another one. So we're going to go ahead and loosen up the same size, if either flathead or whatnot, that goes directly onto the throttle body. Then we should be able to pull this piece out. It's a way tighter fit in these newer engine bays. All right, now, so we got something else hooked over here. I have to get a light. I don't know what's hooked, but something's hooked here. This looks like a press fit. Hope you guys can see this little arm here. All it was is just a press fit rubber connection, but man, it was holding on there good. Got it off though. Next, we need to take, see that 10mm right there? We need to take that guy out, and then we are gonna pull the airbox straight up, you know, far enough to clear that. That's a stud actually. So that 10mm will pull that off, and the whole intake should come off at that point. Don't lose this. Probably have to reuse it. Let's see if this intake will come out now. Well, there's still some, this wiring harness they didn't talk about up here in the corner needs to be released. So we'll release it real quick. Try again. Holy cow. This is a huge box. A lot of stuff to clear. I'm actually wondering if taking that thing apart would have been easier than trying to loosen that up. It's interesting. Okay, let's see what we got to do next. Next thing we need to do is you need to find this seal, and you notice there's an opening right here. That opening goes towards the inside, but it says to install this on the box. It only fits in one spot, so this stuff like this, I don't necessarily understand why they don't put this together from the factory, but I mean, maybe it falls out in shipping or something. I don't know. It could be easier said than done. No, that's not too bad. We'll get it in there. Next, we need to open up our nuts and bolts because we got to put a bracket on, I believe, right here on this section. So got the seal in. Like I said, make sure it's facing the same way as the instructions. I gotta find my nuts and bolts here. Next, this is what we've got here. This installs, I'm assuming this is a clip holder of some sort, but it's a 4mm button head. I don't think you can install it any other way. The instructions say you can install it with like it's a bolt or something, but it's definitely not. So I'm gonna get it installed. Next, there is an insert that goes in here, and I already kind of put it together, but see this stainless insert? I screwed up and put it in there. All right, let's push this guy into place. I'm gonna take my gloves off. And then that stainless insert will go in the end of it once we get it in there. There we go. Ooh, I don't like that. I'm gonna get a flathead screwdriver, straighten that back out. May have to put something on that for it to slide in. This next part, I'm not really sure what it means, but it says, if desired, put this in. And it says it can be installed from the inside or the outside, depending on the look you're going for. I don't necessarily know that you can see this, but let's see if we can put it in here. I don't know, does that mean that there's like a ram air function that I'm bypassing by doing this? I'm not really sure. We'll get a little deeper in it and we'll see what happens, but I mean, it's not like we can't just take it right back out. All right. Seems to be in. Yeah. All right, once you got that in, if you're installing it, I guess like I said, we'll see later, we need to put the grommets on the back side of the box. And now, guys, I think we're ready to put this thing in place. And like I said, we'll go a little further, and maybe this can come back out. Like I said, I don't know if this is like a ram air function or what. To install this, it's saying just drop it into place, and your two little rubber grommets are going to go back in the corner back here, kind of the way the old ones came out. And then this right here is going to go over that stud. Remember where we took that 10mm off. Now, this could be easier said than done. We'll see. It's definitely a close fit. I feel like the guy would be better off taking the coolant tube out, or coolant thing out, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay. I think I'm gonna need my flashlight back here to make sure those little rubber pieces go where they need to be. Here's one. Uh-oh, did you hear that? That's the sound of me knocking that tube out, would be my guess. Yep. All right, let's take it back out. Put that back in and go again. The joys of modifying cars, guys. My little rubber tube came off the back too. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Yep, that pushed out. And then I don't see my little rubber tube. I'm gonna have to find it. It fell down in here. Oh, there it is. And honestly, you could probably push those rubber tubes in, but we'll we'll deal with that later. Let's get this back in place and try again. After a pretty substantial fight, I got that guy in there. Holy cow, it's not easy. And then I put that 10 millimeter back on, and guys, you really need a ratcheting wrench to tighten it up because you can't see the top side of it. You're doing this within the box. So we'll get it snug down, and then we have to hook the factory air tube. Remember this guy that we unhooked to get the box out? We've got to shove that back into the box. I'm hoping that I don't have an issue with that. And then we can put our little clip that held it up here back in place, and our two 13 millimeters in that bracket. Yeah, a ratcheting wrench would work good if it, we'll get it. Don't over tighten this, you're just going into plastic. We're about to get it here. Alright, that's snug. Now, like I said, we're going to try to get this maneuvered back into the box. That tube pushed in there way better than I thought it would. Now we can go ahead and put our clip back in. Well, I say, oh, it's wanting to fight me. I will tell you that this kit is a little bit tougher to install than I thought it would be. I mean, I'm sure there's, you know, discrepancies from truck to truck. And like I said, I think this fits multiple units. Got that in place. Make sure it didn't come out. No, it's still sitting in there. Seems a little loose to me, but maybe it'll tighten up as we start to put more stuff on it. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bracket and the 13 millimeter back in here, and then we'll see what's next. All right, the next thing it says to do is for that bracket that we attached on the side to hook this guy up. Worked pretty well. And then it says there's a hole in the side to hook the old clip in, but I sure don't see one. Unless it's hiding from me. Yeah, I definitely don't see one. Well, if there is one, I sure don't see it. But there's a clip on that wiring harness, which I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it's gonna matter, but there's nowhere to clip that thing at all. Nope. All right, we're gonna bypass that spot. We're gonna be, oh, I see what clip it's talking about. There's another one right here. I don't think it thought about this clip. There's another clip here on the bottom, and yes, there is a hole for it. So we'll get it put in place. So you can see where we hooked the factory one down there, the gray one, and then it comes with some zip tie clips that pushed into this top one. So just an additional bit to secure it. Of course, along with that panel, all the clips, we need to get this guy back in place. And look, we lost a big section that covers that, so we definitely need to do a little engine detailing. I tend not to do that as much on cars that I daily drive, but I don't want to open the hood and it look this gross. It's just really hard to wipe these areas that are really caked up, and I don't like washing under the hood with water, or at least not generally. We got all this stuff back in place. Let's move on. Next thing it calls for is this big piece of rubber that's kind of an odd shape, looks like a stake. And this guy. So I'm guessing this is Plex, and they keep it covered up so it doesn't get scratched in shipping, I'm sure. But this goes into this, and then of course into the top of the intake over there. So we'll get it. It says to put it in here first. I may sit down and do this. And then once that's in, then we're gonna insert that into this upper portion of the box. I assume they know what they're talking about by putting this in first, followed by the box in second. Seems like it may be kind of fun to maneuver in there, maybe not. I'm gonna sit down and finish this up, pushing this in there. This isn't the easiest thing to do standing up. If that wasn't easy, you know that putting it in here is probably gonna be a pain. Oh. Okay. Easier than I thought. Now getting it out of there may be a chore if you ever had to take it out, but we'll get some Windex and kind of go over that when we're all finished. That fits nice. Oh, you can reach in here too. Yeah. Next, it's saying we need to do a couple things. One is we've got our filter, which goes in this ginormous box. I think, okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's got a little lip on it. We gotta snap it in all the way around, but this right here, I kind of want to orient where I can actually reach it and tighten it. Make sure that we're sealed up here, and we are. But we need to take a T20 and we need to grab our stock intake, and we need to get our mass airflow card out. So I'm going to go ahead and use a T20 and get that out of the old intake part. Now, once we get it loose out of this, which was the T20s, we need to grab our intake tube here. And you've got a couple pieces that came with this. So it came with screws, a gasket, and a piece of plastic. And guys, the cool thing about mass airflow sensors is they only go one way. They are actually offset just enough where you can't screw up putting them in. So we're gonna grab this and we need to make sure it's going the right direction. I need to make sure that the gasket, on which end the gasket goes on. I don't know if it goes on the... No, we got it the wrong way for one, but I need to make sure that the gasket, whether we put the gasket that came with it or the piece of plastic first. I think, oh, I take that back. You can see which way it goes. So the gasket, then the piece of plastic, then this, because this has an indention to set in that. Like I said, they kind of make it dummy proof so you don't screw up trying to put it together, because it can only go in one way. I say dummy proof and then I'm sitting here screwing it all up. And they supply new screws that are machine screws, and they're just a Phillips. Get these tightened in. Don't over tighten this. There we go. Next thing we're going to install is this guy. It's one of our tubes that hooks up. And I'm going to use just an adjustable end wrench. I don't know what size this is. It's plastic. Be careful on stuff like this. Don't over tighten it either. Seems good. Next, you really need to know what throttle body you've got, because this thing comes with two different sizes depending on your throttle body size. Okay, we've got a smaller one and we've got a bigger one. So this one right here is the one that we need to put on there. And I just tested this, it fits on the throttle body. And then of course you've got your worm clamps that go on as well. Take that back. I had to swap these out for the other one. Mine has the bigger throttle body. I'm guessing that's for the 5.3, but it also kind of got these just like loosely in place. It comes with a mass airflow extension harness, so we need to go ahead and put that in place. Okay, there. And then it's saying to tie that in right here, but I'm gonna wait on that to clip it right there once we get it plugged in. But what I'm gonna do now, I think we're ready to install this. That is our next step. I'm just gonna kind of keep this out of the way for now, and we're gonna get it in this and then try to loop it over the throttle body. This is always a fun task. I think a guy, you're gonna need a ladder if you don't have a, even if you have a lowered truck apparently. All right. I see why it was saying to tie this up. We'll hook this together and we'll tie that up here in a little bit, but go ahead and hook up your mass airflow sensor, and then we will slide the lock into place. And then now I can see why it's saying to pin that up. We'll do that here in a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and snug down all my connections. I kind of like for them to be really uniform. So what I may do is slide them up top here and then snug them down. Now, I guess initially I didn't pull off everything I was supposed to. This hose right here is not being reused because they sent you a new one. The cool thing is, if I can get this off of here, is that I'm gonna have to get a pair of pliers or something to loosen that up, but anyway, once we get this one off, they've supplied a new 90 right here and a straight piece, and they also supply a piece of hose to connect for our fresh air feed. So I'm gonna go ahead, if I can get this off of here, I'm gonna have to get a pair of pliers, get that off and then connect our hose. I'm not gonna tighten up the clamps until it's on there so I can kind of orient it the way I want it to go. Now the instructions show to put the like 90 right here and then go up and in. I hate that. I feel like it could go like this, but maybe I'm gonna try it like that because I don't like the other way. Maybe it won't snap on there like that. I don't know. It snapped on down there. I sure like this look a lot better than it like. Yeah. It's snug. Yeah. They had it looped up, like, and it goes over the intake. I don't see the point in that. It's gonna stay out of everything here. It's not gonna be any problems. Guys, we are finished, other than I do need to put a clip here in this guy. And we need to tie up our mass airflow to keep it out of things. But aside from that, we are ready to hook up the battery and give this thing a go. Man, these are so handy. I'm gonna order some of these for just everyday use. They're like a clip, but then they have a zip tie built onto them. I'm also gonna put another one. It says to put another one over here. I think it'd probably be a good idea to keep this up. I actually think we probably should have grabbed that with the one we put in the side of the box, but everything seems snug. Need to double check, but then let's hook up the battery and see if it'll start up. We got it. That's not, look guys, if you take your time, it's probably gonna take an hour, and I know, look, I cleaned up some of that, but see this stuff right here? The intake covered that up before, so Holy cow, it's gross. We'll clean that up later. I cleaned some of the parts up. Yeah, look how gross that is. It gets so dusty under the hood, especially when you daily drive them. Let's see if it'll start up. And if we have any check engine lights. I don't think we will, but let's give it a shot here. I got no service engine lights, which is good. That's what we want. Interesting. So look, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. Like I said, guys, here's my plan. My plan is to drive it for a couple weeks, put some miles on it, and let's see if it makes a difference. For one, I'll let you, when I check back in with the mileage report, I will let you know if I can feel a difference in power. Guys, I don't know that what they call seat of the pants feel. I don't know if you'll be able to feel it, but if you can, I'll let you know, and we'll check back in I'd say a week or two. So guys, here we are. Oh my gosh, probably, I know the truck's still dirty. Haven't had time to wash it, but we've ran about 2 tanks through it, and the best I can tell is I gained about half a mile per gallon. Now, it's kind of unfair. The first tank, I was on the highway a lot, and I normally am not like that. A lot of mine is kind of mixed highway and street driving, but the best I could tell, about a half mile per gallon gain, and I can definitely feel the difference up top. I didn't think I'd be able to, but there's definitely a power difference on the top side. Maybe a little quicker throttle response. I'm terrible at that though, to be honest with you. The only place I can really tell is it seems a little throatier up top, both sound and as far as like just pickup, as far as going and whatnot down the road. But I think it's worth it, guys. It's a relatively cheap piece. Like I said, I will be listing RealTruck's link down below if you guys want to check out the one that I actually installed, or I think there's like 20 of them, like I said at the beginning of this video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this install. It takes a little bit of time getting that box in place, but like I said, I actually think it's worth it. And this is on the lower end as far as budget goes. So stay tuned, guys, because we have another product coming from RealTruck that I'm really excited to install, but I really want to get this thing washed up, which means I need to get this finger taken care of. But if you guys have been enjoying this, please, like always, go down there and smash that thumbs up button. Guys, while you're down there doing that, hit the subscribe, ring the bell notification. That notifies you every single time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.